if your feet feel like they're wrapped in bubble wrap, if you've stopped trusting your own balance going down the stairs, or if that tingling, buzzing, pins and needles feeling never quite goes away, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what I'm about to show you isn't a stretch. It isn't a quick fix. It's a set of 4 specific movements that work directly with your nervous system to help restore the connection between your brain and your feet. Welcome back to Prime Health Lab, the channel dedicated to helping you move better, feel steadier, and stay independent at every stage of life. If that sounds like something you care about, hit subscribe because we publish content like this every week. Let's talk about why this works. Peripheral neuropathy affects millions of people over 60. It's commonly linked to diabetes, the after effects of chemotherapy, or simply the natural decline in circulation that comes with age. What's actually happening is this. The small nerves that run down into your feet and legs rely on a steady supply of oxygen-rich blood to function properly. When that circulation slows down, those nerves start to behave like a frayed electrical wire. Signals misfire, get weaker, or stop arriving altogether. That's where the numbness, the tingling, and that strange walking on bubble wrap sensation comes from. Your feet are still touching the ground. Your brain just isn't getting a clear signal about it. Here's the part most people never hear. This isn't necessarily a one-way street. Your nervous system stays remarkably adaptable, even well past 60. This is the principle of neuroplasticity, the brain and nervous system's ability to form new pathways and strengthen weak ones in response to the right kind of input. And one of the most powerful inputs you can give it is movement. This idea isn't new. It echoes the philosophy of some of Japan's longest practicing physicians, doctors who kept treating patients well into their 90s and 100s and credited their own mobility, in large part, to staying physically active every single day. Their approach wasn't about chasing intensity. It was about consistent, purposeful movement that kept the body's systems talking to each other. That's exactly what we're going to do with your feet and legs. Movement does 2 things for damaged or struggling nerves. First, it increases blood flow, which delivers more oxygen to nerve tissue that's been starved of it. Second, it helps flush out metabolic waste that builds up around damaged nerve fibers. Waste that, left sitting there, only makes inflammation and nerve irritation worse. So this isn't about masking discomfort. It's about giving your nervous system the conditions it needs to actually repair and rebuild. A quick but important note before we begin. If you have diabetic neuropathy or reduced sensation in your feet, check your skin for cuts, blisters, or redness after exercising, since you may not feel minor injuries right away. Always check with your doctor before starting a new exercise routine, especially if you have balance concerns. Use a sturdy chair or countertop for support during any of these movements. Your safety always comes first. Let's get into the 4 exercises. The first move is what we call the alternating march, and its job is simple. Wake up circulation in your legs and get oxygen moving toward those struggling nerves. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, hands resting lightly on your thighs or the armrests. Lift your right knee up toward your chest as high as comfortably possible, then lower it back down with control. Immediately lift your left knee the same way. Continue alternating sides at a steady, comfortable pace, almost like marching in place while seated. Aim for 20 to 30 total lifts, 10 to 15 per leg, resting whenever you need to. If you're steady on your feet and have been cleared for standing exercise, you can perform this standing behind a chair, holding the back of it for support, marching in place instead. What this is really doing, every time you lift your leg, you're contracting the large muscles in your hip and thigh, which act like a pump, pushing blood through your legs and back toward your heart. More circulation moving through those vessels means more oxygen reaching the nerves that have been running on empty. The second exercise targets something very specific, your ankles, which often lose mobility first when neuropathy sets in, and your calf muscles, which act as a secondary pump for circulation in your lower legs. You need to stand behind a chair or at a counter, feet hip-width apart, holding on for balance. Slowly rise up onto your toes, lifting your heels as high as comfortable. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds, then lower back down. Next, shift your weight back and lift your toes off the ground, balancing on your heels. Hold briefly, then lower your toes back down. That's one full cycle, toes up, then heels up. Repeat for 10 to 12 cycles. If standing isn't accessible for you right now, this can also be done seated. Simply lift your heels off the floor while keeping your toes planted, then reverse it by lifting your toes while keeping your heels down. This movement restores range of motion in a joint that tends to stiffen quickly once nerve signals weaken, and it activates your calf muscles as a second circulatory pump, sending fresh oxygenated blood down into the feet exactly where it's needed most. Now we move into something a little different, an exercise built specifically to force communication between your brain and your body. This is the seated diagonal chop, and it works your core while training coordination at the same time. First, sit toward the edge of a sturdy chair, feet flat, knees roughly hip-width apart. Clasp your hands together or hold a light object like a small water bottle or rolled towel. Raise your hands up and out to one side, near shoulder height. In a slow, controlled motion, chop diagonally down and across your body, bringing your hands toward the opposite hip. Reverse the motion back up to the starting position. Perform 8 to 10 repetitions, then switch and chop from the other side. What makes this exercise valuable isn't just the strength it builds in your core and trunk, it's the cross-body coordination it demands. Your brain has to coordinate your shoulders, spine, and hips together in a diagonal pattern, which is far more complex than a simple straight-line movement. That complexity is the point. It's exactly the kind of varied, challenging input that encourages your nervous system to strengthen the pathways connecting your brain to the rest of your body. Our final exercise is the one most directly responsible for fall prevention, and it's called the modified single-leg stance. Stand facing a counter or the back of a sturdy chair, both hands resting on it for support. Shift your weight onto one leg and gently lift the other foot just an inch or two off the floor. Hold this position for 5 to 10 seconds, focusing on staying steady rather than going for height. Lower your foot back down and repeat on the other side. Perform 3 to 4 holds per leg, gradually working up to longer holds as your balance improves. As you progress and feel more confident, you can lighten your grip on the support, eventually using just one finger of contact rather than your full hand. This exercise directly retrains the smaller stabilizing muscles in your feet, ankles, and hips, muscles that often go dormant when neuropathy interferes with sensory feedback. Every second you hold this position, your nervous system is forced to make tiny, constant corrections to keep you upright. That's neuroplasticity in action. Your brain learning in real time how to interpret weaker signals from your feet and respond appropriately. Here's how to put these 4 exercises into practice. Try to perform this short sequence daily, or at minimum 4 to 5 times per week. You don't need more than 10 to 15 minutes. Consistency matters far more than intensity here. Your nervous system responds to repeated, reliable input, not occasional bursts of effort. Start where you are. If 10 repetitions feels like too much today, do 5. If standing exercises feel unsteady, begin seated and build from there. The goal isn't perfection on day 1, it's giving your body a reason every single day to keep those pathways between your brain and your feet open and active. Over time, many people notice steadier footing, less of that walking on bubble wrap sensation, and a renewed sense of confidence simply walking across a room without fear of falling. That confidence, that's really what this is about. Not just managing symptoms, but reclaiming your independence. If this episode helped you, do one thing for me. Share it with someone you love who's over 60. This kind of information can genuinely change how someone moves through their day. And if you want more practical, no-nonsense health guidance built specifically for this stage of life, subscribe to Prime Health Lab and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Take care of those feet. They've carried you this far. And with the right movement, they can keep carrying you for years to come. I'll see you in the next one.
Prime Health Lab is dedicated to men's internal health. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.